Are we on the cusp of one of the most epic dirt racing seasons to ever play out? I'll make the case today on the show. Let's go. It's Tuesday, January 3rd. I'm Justin Fiedler. This is Dirt Tracker Daily. It's pretty quiet around dirt racing this week with kind of this lull between the Tulsa Shootout and the Chili Bowl. The Wild West Shootout doesn't start until Saturday, and even racing down under is pretty quiet until the weekend. But as we sit here on January 3rd, I'm wondering if we might be on the cusp of one of the most interesting and epic dirt racing seasons to happen in a very long time. There aren't necessarily big favorites for any of the national tours. There's a lot of big money to be won, and the ground will be constantly shifting, I think, especially with the sprint cars. Let's start though with the dirt late model scene. Both national tours have a group of full-timers that's filled out nicely, but both championships are completely wide open. The Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series has been handled the past 2 years by Tim McCreadie, but his epic consistency will be less of a factor this season with the addition of the championship playoffs. McCreadie will certainly be in the mix, but with Devin Moran now in full-time, Hudson O'Neal in the Rocket House car, Ricky Thornton Jr. is back for year 3, and the return of Jonathan Davenport, this thing will be a dogfight all the way through to the end and through Eldora at season's end. If Davenport ends up in the Final Four, he'll have a really strong chance to win that final race and the championship at Eldora, but it's not a sure thing. This feels like it will be an incredibly competitive year with Lucas. On the Outlaw side, you have Dennis Erb Jr. back to defend his first ever series championship, but the landscape of the Outlaws has changed significantly from 2022. Brandon Sheppard is back, but with a new team and a new chassis. We obviously know he's an incredible driver, but with a lot of question marks right now to figure out. Chris Madden has been close before with the Outlaws, and he can win anywhere, but he's got to beat Erb and Sheppard all season. And last year's second-place driver in Tanner English is now with the third-place team, and it seems like they could be on the cusp of a breakout season. I'm also super curious to see how newcomers Nick Hoffman and Peyton Freeman do against this group. From there, XR is still pulling up big cash. The Flow Series is back for year 3, and the Crown Jewels will continue to draw us in. And don't sleep on the regional series that have good schedules and will draw in plenty of talent all season. On the sprint car side, it's been a long time since we've had this much unrest, at least on the wing side, and who the hell knows what will happen in the coming days or weeks or months. The full-time fields for both the Outlaws and All-Stars are nowhere near complete, and we could very possibly see a bunch of teams and drivers start the year in one situation and end the year somewhere else. Tyler Courtney has won 2 straight All-Star titles, but we have no confirmation on his plans for 2023. Brad Sweet is now a 4-time World of Outlaws champion, but there remains a reasonable chance he doesn't start or finish the season as a full-time Outlaw driver. That means both series are ripe for the taking. There's a $1 million race on the table this summer for the sprint cars, and High Limit has everyone reconsidering how they will put their seasons together. I know we'll have plenty to talk about as the year unfolds on the sprint car side, and I hope you have your popcorn ready because there will be plenty of drama along the way, both on and off the track. On the non-wing side, with the Extreme Outlaw Series whacked, USAC is again the name of the game with the sprint cars. A reworked schedule and some driver moves I think will shake things up for 2023. In midget racing, though, I think a big year is coming up. We've got no Kyle Larson and no Christopher Bell at the Chili Bowl next week, and I think we will very likely see a driver take home a Golden Driller for the first time. I like Buddy Kofoid, but I wouldn't be surprised by a win from any number of drivers who will be in the building next week. It's going to be a wild week of racing, I think, and, everybody's going to be gunning for those spots that kind of haven't been open before. As for the national landscape, USAC and POWRi have their usual schedules, but an expanded slate from World Racing Group with the Extreme Outlaw Midgets will add some intrigue. And the fact that you can basically run both USAC and Extreme for championships opens up a lot of opportunities for those teams. The future of open wheel racing will play out in the midgets this year, so if you want to know who's next, keep an eye on those series. In the Northeast, Matt Sheppard is coming off one of the greatest seasons ever, and everyone will be gunning for him. We'll see if he can continue that momentum, or if maybe somebody else can step up there. And the modified scene kind of in the Midwest will change for this year with USMTS champion Dustin Sorensen taking over for Hall of Famer Jimmy Mars in that late model. And Nick Hoffman is also going full-time late model racing as well. That means UMP titles, national championship, regional championship will be wide open. And we'll have a new modified nationals champion because Hoffman's dominated that deal in recent years. I don't know about you, but this might be the most excited I've been for a dirt racing season in a long time and maybe ever. Drop me a comment. Let me know where you are right now about the 2023 dirt racing season. You know, your kind of feelings and your thoughts as we get ready to really start rolling here for real. Last night was the 6th of 10 rounds for the iRacing World of Outlaws sprint cars. They took on Fairbury Speedway. And when the night was done, we had a big shakeup in the points standings. Kenny Miller and James Eden started on the front row together of the feature, and those two had a really fun battle for the lead, especially late in the going, with Miller throwing multiple sliders at Edens. In the end, though, Edens was able to hold him off to bag his second win of the season and second in a row. Miller ended up settling for second, with Timothy Smith in third. That podium for Smith ended up being a big deal because both the points leader Alex Bergeron and second place driver Tyler Schell had issues in that main event. Both ended up getting turned with incidents. Schell battled back to 13th, but Bergeron ended up in 17th. So now with 4 rounds to go, Smith is the new points leader by 2 over Bergeron, and Schell is back to 3rd. And the issues for the front runners have also brought Kendall Tucker and Edens much closer. So you've got kind of a 4, 5, 6 car battle there. This tight championship fight will continue next Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern when the series moves to Cedar Lake Speedway. You can watch these races live and for free on Dirt Vision and the iRacing YouTube channel. The only things on the streaming schedule today are Dirt Vision Now and Flow Racing 24/7. This should be the last day, I think, for a little while here with such a quiet schedule from the streaming services. Things start to pick up tomorrow, and there's a bunch of dirt racing to come. To see the full daily streaming schedule with links to watch, visit dirttracker.com/watch tonight. Before we go, it's not dirt racing, but I did want to say so long to Ken Block, an incredible life lived in motorsports between the various rally series he competed in and his insane rampages through a bunch of different cities and places and some of the most incredible vehicles ever built. When we talk about creators, Block was an OG with his Gymkhana series of videos, and he really paved the way for an entire genre of automotive content. We're certainly thinking about his family and friends today. All right, that's it for the show. Have a good Tuesday. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be right back here tomorrow for more Dirt Tracker Daily.